Fireball was very good. So yeah, I think this is like a pretty massive outdraft in my opinion. I don't know how this Pudge is going to play the game, but maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe AcatSuki is going to be able to do something crazy here.
Yeah, you can always definitely catch people off guard with hooks, right? And we've seen that a couple early kills can really change. You know, these matches were like, oh, it should definitely go this way, but you suddenly pick up 2 kills and like the dynamic has completely changed. And I will say, if Midas Club does not get off to that strong start we're expecting, I do think they'll struggle because it's pretty greedy. I feel like they need to win and keep winning for this to work. But once you fall behind and you have to catch up, you try to like make plays. Like who is that playmaker, right? So if they can maybe find an early kill off meat hook, you could see them kind of giving themselves a shot here.
Yeah. I will say one thing that I am curious to see is how the Timbersaw versus Storm Spirit matchup is going to go mid, because like on paper, I feel like RoboZ should have a pretty good time into the Timber, especially after, for some reasons, the nerf that we see, again, just going to reactive armor, and I don't even know if that was the like a problem on this hero as much as just his damage output. It was kind of like last patch with like nerf flamethrower, maybe, I guess. I don't know. Why is this hero strong? But Shido. Oh, they're going to trap him. Yeah. He's going to be able... Well, Timbersaw unleashes the Pudge, but he's getting body blocked into oblivion, and Widge will steal the kill away from his mid Timbersaw. That's kind of suspect, honestly, if you have to.
Guys, I thought he was getting away. I had to secure it. We didn't want to lose it. We would have felt really bad. I had to do it.
Yeah, absolutely no choice.
Okay, well, we were talking about Pudge needing to find a kill. Ooh, hook and Bristle onto the tower. I don't think it'll be a kill, but he'll get some nice damage.
Yeah, that's very good. Bristle's like weakness is his first like 3 levels. So if you manage to get a lot of damage to stick onto this hero, you're probably gonna feel pretty good. And FCR actually might just die here. Oh, he has to block the hook here on Hiko, I think, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, well, he technically did. Hits the illusion since the hook can come from the back of Pudge. Great.
Well, I gotta say, this lane is going a lot better for Pudge than we expected with some good hooks here.
Yeah. Yeah, that first hook to pull Bristle back onto the tower like really hurts him because he, like I said, his only real weakness is the first few levels. After that, he just becomes like that unmovable object, right?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of like Pudge lanes kind of go this way. If he gets off to a good start, it becomes oppressive. If you put him off to a bad start, then it's like a pretty easy lane.
Yeah.
Quickly taking a look around. Looks like so far, Timber doing fine in the mid lane. I do think like the early levels are fine for him, since Storm is a relatively short-ranged hero, but once Storm gets a couple levels, a bit more like magic damage, it's fine. I think they both kind of get what they want, though, out of this landing stage. And then we'll see like what the support rotations or the mid rotations lead to.
A lot of creep dragging in the bottom lane, as expected. The typical of Batrider lanes. Which, I mean, you have a tiny into the Naga Siren. We had, like we said, yesterday we saw a similar matchup go fairly well for Saberlight, but I think they had a stronger 4. So we'll have to see. They're going to go for the Crystal Maiden, though. Brings her very low, just needs one more auto attack, and they get her. She just, like, poofed. Did that happen to you, too?
A little.
That was very weird.
It's like in the top lane. I think they got a hook next to that tower.
Very nice. Yeah, it's one of those things where I think like this Pudge, like yes, he has to be ahead now, but he has to remain very far ahead of the Bristleback. Like if Bristleback manages to find like any decent item timings, his game becomes really hard. It's kind of like similar to the matchup versus Razor, where it's like Pudge wants to be on top of these heroes and doing damage, and Razor is fine with the same thing. Same with Bristleback. They're like, go for it, buddy. We'll see what happens. And it's like, the matchup always goes in favor of the minus armor.
I will say the Veil Shivas, I don't know if he'll get the Shivas, but at least like Phase Veil is a good chunk of armor for him.
Yeah. Very nice pickup in the bottom lane here. Of course, Crystal Maiden just once again showing why she is incredibly strong. Just doing almost all of the damage there to the Tiny, and it was just Naga Siren walking up with a single Riptide to get the kill.
The classic carry contribution.
Mm-hmm.
Top lane, hook onto Shadow Demon.
Go again. But FCR is going to try and just chase him down. Shido should get the kill here, which is, I mean, very good for the Pudge, but he does have 4 Quill Spray stacks on him. He's going to need a little bit of space. FCR just needs to dodge the hook himself, which he doesn't. Those Quill stacks are still on the Pudge, though. So, can he get away? Inkswell's gonna keep him alive, pops the stick.
This is really
Can
scary.
They find the kill? He gets the Grimstroke. Shido's gonna die, maybe? Barely alive, pops a salve at the last second as the Shadow Demon's poison was not close enough.
I was so close. I think if that Shadow Poison connected, it would have killed the Pudge.
Absolutely.
It was just out of range.
I was checking to see if he had Flesh Heap running, and he didn't, so it was very close. But I mean, that's kind of what I was talking about, where it's like, eventually that damage for the Bristleback is just more than what Pudge can do, because it doesn't scale the same. But for now, he's doing fantastic, and that's props to Shido, props to Prada in this lane. If they can keep the momentum going, maybe we'll see them shut down this Bristleback. He's got a Veil of Discord now completed, so that's a ton of extra magic damage for this lane.
Yeah, and I do think Phase, Veil, Anghenims, and maybe like BKB, it does sound like a very strong point for Pudge if he isn't behind and preferably ahead. So gonna have to see how this like mid game plays out to see who hits those item timings first. Look, they're running at Storm before he has his 6.
Yeah,
buy himself
really
a little bit
good
of
play
time.
from 40R. That's sick.
A great kill there. Looks like he has 7 deny, so just hits 6 a little bit sooner than Storm.
He's pretty far ahead in this lane, actually. Last, it's not too much of a difference, but now with that kill, he's feeling very strong. He's got a Soul Ring coming in a moment. So, yeah, he's doing very well. Bottom lane, we're seeing the classic duel of Batrider versus Crystal Maiden, and it's just always Crystal Maiden favored, especially now with like the nerf to the Flame Break, right? You can't really hold them back for very long, and Frostbite does come out, throws him into the creeps, as he has one more Crystal Nova down to 40 HP. Coastabile does not want to chase him down, so.
Right, if that was a different camp, it might have killed him. Centaurs have pretty low damage.
Yeah.
Think of like the Troll creep camp, I think that would have killed him.
The trolls, the pine cones.
Yeah, those are scary ones. Looks like it's okay that the neutral cam didn't kill him, because looks like Timbersaw is going to grab himself another kill.
Ooh, nice TP cancel.
TP canceled. I find it interesting. I wonder if they're deciding right now, but Batrider is also looking to pick up a Veil, which they've already got one on the team. It is a pretty good item on core Batrider, but I don't know if they can afford that overlap.
Huge. Not only do they get the kill again, but they're going to get the tower, or they're going to get the Wisdom Rune. Shido does find another kill top off of his fresh level 6, so he's able to get the Dismember kill onto the Bristleback. Does one of the supports have a TP? They do. Okay, so I was like, one of them's got to come back for the Wisdom Rune, and yeah, they're going to regret not TPing sooner. They had plenty of time for that. So Shido's now level 7. That's huge. 4 points in the rot with that Veil of Discord is going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, Pudge is definitely having the lane he needs to. Like, some really good hooks under the tower has changed the way this lane plays out. Like, without those hooks, it sounds silly, right? But without landing those hooks, especially under the tower, then it would look differently. We were talking about how Bristleback is relatively strong versus Pudge because of that physical damage, armor reduction versus the low armor hero that is Pudge, but can't deal with the tower shots in the early game. So now he's going to have to depend on stacks, which there are quite a few stacks here. Shadow Demon has been getting to work.
Well, they find Prada here on the Grimstroke. He does get the silence out onto the Timbersaw, something that's always very annoying with the Phantom's Embrace. But they're going to try and finish him off. He's got a Haste Rune still running, and he does a lot of damage. Timber Chain does end up hitting the wall, but it's a trade 1-for-1. As Pudge comes in as well, manages to find the Shadow Demon, and how many times have we seen Hiko die to the Pudge now? That's a lot. He's up to his 5th Flesh Heap stack. That is really good.
And Storm, who was struggling just a bit after that earlier gank on him, now back in this with that double kill. And I really like this read. They came to try to steal stacks. They know Bristleback needs this, but he just finished clearing that hard camp, and they don't really have the heroes to steal an ancient stack.
Not yet, at least, yeah. It's like your Tiny needs to be much stronger. Which, I don't even know if we pointed out earlier, it is a core Batrider, right? It's like, technically, this is a core Batrider on the 3 position, there's a 4 position Tiny. It's like, I noticed Adrian picked the Batrider, and for some reason, I just never mentioned it. So we're seeing... Adrian actually have a pretty good game on the offlane Batrider. He's going straight Shivas, though, which has me confused because you have a Shivas also queued up on your Pudge. Oh, the hook top lane manages to connect. Should get saved here from the disruption. As the Inkswell will be dodged to FCR. He's got a couple Quill Spray stacks out. By a couple, I mean about to be 6. Pudge quite tanky though with all these extra stacks. As the backside of the fight, Tiny will run into a Timber Saw, but Robo Z comes in aggressively, and it sets up for another hook onto FCR. How many times can they get these? 40R comes in looking for Robo Z. He's pretty low on mana, both of them, but Robo Z will make it out with a 20 stick. This game is so even, actually. 8-8. No gold lead.
Figure out who this goes towards. I really didn't think it would be such an even game. I really thought one team would start snowballing a lead.
And I mean, the Bristleback being so far behind from where he needs to be, I think is really good for AcatSuki because Pudge is enormous. He is level 9, like from the safe lane. That is pretty wild. He's having a great game.
So many kills.
Yeah.
Kills and assists. 4, 1, and 2 right now. Naga is farming, though. And I don't know if you really have the heroes to run at her. Storm ganks, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you need to bring the Storm. You either have to bring the Storm or you have to, like, Inkswell with like the Batrider or something.
Yeah, it's just tough because the core Batrider uses sticky napalm to get a lot of damage in, but Naga having an innate dispel with her Q, and she has the root to like, oh, you're running at me, root, run away. It's pretty tough for Batrider.
Yeah.
Without the extra help of like Storm doing the initial zip.
FCR cleaning up those ancient stacks now as well as some hard camps. So getting some much needed golden XP for himself as he's finished up a Vanguard. I think the first time I've seen a Vanguard in the last like 5 months.
It's been a while. Looks like we got a smoke play. Pudge and Grimstroke coming through that Wind Gate. Maybe looking for that Naga, but I don't know if she read this, but she's actually headed mid right now.
Well, they were like hoping the rune was gonna spawn bottom and Robo Z was gonna try and like go to the bottom rune right where Crystal Maiden was waiting, but unfortunately for them,
they're still looking. Top. They might find this Naga.
They see the illusions running through. I just don't think they know which one is real, and so instead they're setting their sights on 40R potentially, but Avalanche is off the mark. Adrian does know where the real one is now. Well, he has a mirror image up in 1 second. Will Costabile stick around long enough? He will see the rest of the heroes silenced up. Hiko's coming in with the save. Nice DP on the Shadow Demon. Demonic Purge hits the Pudge. Song of the Siren to reset here as they even commit the Soulbind. So will they want to stay? We'll have to see. You're fighting it. Widge is going to just freezing field. Yeah, he's like, I'll sacrifice myself. But Hiko's going to get ran down as well. Adrian on the Batrider. Very strong. This ends up being a 2 kills for Nut.
Now up to 8 Flesh Heap stacks on that Pudge.
How far are we from the axe?
Racking them up.
He's getting there.
About halfway. Yeah, considering he got Veil first, it'll be pretty decent.
And he does need the Veil first. This is one of those games where you can't really afford to not pick up the armor, right? Against Bristleback and the Naga Siren, it's like the lane would be so much worse for him if he didn't go for the Veil.
Wonder. So Storm's getting a Witchblade right now. I wonder if he'll get a fast Parasma, because that would actually, like, Pudge carry is not a typical carry, and so amplifying Pudge's damage with the magic resistance reduction would be pretty cool. Maybe a little greedy. I don't know if it's necessary, but I kind of like that idea.
The item did get a pretty solid nerf in terms of its damage output, but it still has the magic amplification that is still the same. Man, RoboZ has gotten very lucky on these runes. 3 in a row now, where Midas Club makes a rotation to try and find the rune and it ends up being on the opposite side.
Yeah, he's gonna like, steal the entire enemy jungle with this.
Yeah.
We're
starting to see a little bit of the weakness of Midas Club, where
no stuns.
Not that they fell massively behind, but yeah, it's like it's even enough of a game that you can't just walk at a tower and feel super comfortable with that. So it's beginning to feel a little weird, where it's like, let's try to make a play with the super slow Crystal Maiden walk up Frostbite play, right? It's a little awkward.
Eco's looking for Prada. Will hit him with the Demonic Purge, but the TP's coming through already. We're seeing 2 heroes already. Kiri, number 1. Avalanche comes through. Soulbind is there. Storm Spirit as well. The double toss into the double Vortex. And boy, oh boy, FCR at least fairly tanky, so he should be fine as Prada will be able to get away. But another Inkswell here onto the Storm Spirit as FCR needs to be careful. RoboZ, though, running low on his resources. Can FCR get out? The toss comes in. No, they got him. Now Adrian with the lasso onto the Timber Saw. The Shiva's already procced as well. He misses the Timber Chain, and Shido gets him on the Dismember. A very good punish here from AcatSuki as they grab 3. That lack of stuns, man, it's adding up.
And it felt like a little bit of a forced play. Shadow Demon through the Demonic Purge before anyone was really that close, which gave tons of time for those rotations to come in. I guess your Naga was farming this whole time, and she is approaching top net worth. So that part feels kind of nice, but your other tempo heroes are starting to drop off, and that's not so great.
Yeah, not at all. Costabile here will find Kiri on the Tiny, which should help set this one up pretty easily. So ends up going to the Crystal Maiden again. Unlucky there for Costabile, but on his way to his Orchid. The item did get nerfed, rightfully so, as it was, I mean, I think it was mostly just Oblivion Staff, the idea just being too strong again. So a little bit less mana regen, and the int bonus decreased slightly. In the soul burn, the usage of the Orchid is slightly more. We're going to see the Bristleback get gone on top, and bottom lane, they're going on Adrian as well, so they grab the kill onto FCR, but can they finish off this Bat Rider in time? They're going to TP in some extra heroes. He's getting low. They finally just commit the Freezing Field to do it, as Kostabile with the Song of the Siren. Oh, they can't TP!
They got drums. Maybe they can just run.
If Pudge gets in range, well, he gets the hook, which will die, and he'll make the TP out of here on the Naga Siren. So another 3 kills going the way of AcatSuki, and it's a little bit surprising that they're able to find this Bristleback so often, but his net worth is in the dumpster.
The thing is, you know where he's going to be, even without vision, because he's had a bad game. You know he can't play aggressive, and so there's only 2 places he's going to be. He's either going to be in his triangle, farming Ancients in the hard camp, or he's going to be on that side section, farming Ancients. So they can go really confidently, like, yeah, we're going to find him, and because he's behind, we're pretty confident we'll get the kill too. So it's making their plays easier, along with the fact they have so many stuns and initiations.
Yeah. Light Collector's movement got cut in half, right? Yeah, it did. Yeah, and that item got freaking owned.
Who's got it?
No, I was just looking at the like what the numbers were on it again.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, they do manage to walk in on the high ground here. Adrian catching a Demonic Purge, but again, you just don't have the damage to go in, and RoboZ will finish up the mid lane. He has an amplified damage running, so they do not want to take this fight. And instead, RoboZ will just walk on in, set up a kill here onto the Shadow Demon. Goes the way of Shido. As Kiri looking for the Naga, does not find the right one.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, Pudge has Ags and Blink now.
Yeah, and now he's going to go for that Shiva's, which I think this will be a really strong timing. I'm not sure if he needs BKB first or not, but I'll trust his judgment. He's feeling the Shivas. They're doing pretty well, right? So,
he definitely needs more armor. And it's one of those things where it's like you already have a Shiva, so it looks a little bit weird, but you'd rather have that than... oh my god. Shido just got so unlucky. He sees the split from the Naga Siren and blinks and catches all three of them that aren't the real Naga. Wow. Yeah, it's like you need armor, and Shiva's, it doesn't stack, but it's still worth having on the Pudge, I think. It's definitely going to be like your most efficient source of armor that still makes your hero strong.
Yeah, and it's a really good item for him. It's kind of why the hero came back to begin with, is when the Veil Shivas was super good. Top side, we're going to find a fight going on Adrian again. Dropping the half pretty quickly.
Obviously never gets a chance to get thrown, is instantly dispelled, and RoboZ, he gets tossed instead. Needs to be very careful. Down to low HP, and he's gone. Nice hook from Shido on the backside. Does manage to find Widge, but he's all alone. Shackled up. That is a massive problem. Here's the Ags from Bristleback that you have to be worried about. That immediate, like, 6 stacks that comes out from that Aghanim Scepter is huge burst damage.
That was like a 5,000 gold swing.
And maybe more. They found Tiny as well. He's going to be able to toss into Widge. Brings him down so low, but it's not enough to find the kill. And boy, oh boy, it just suddenly is Midas's game. I mean, that's way... I mean, that... Yeah, that was originally 4,900... It was 5,900 gold. 4,900 gold. Yeah, 4,900 gold plus the kill from the Tiny, which is another 600. So, yeah, that's like a 5,500 gold swing.
That is a lot of money to change hands in a minute. And we were saying we felt Midas Club's draft was overall better, but that laning stage, like, props to the Pudge hooks and everything. Like, I think they really outplayed that lane, and things were going quite well, but that fight, just kind of going one at a time and losing a lot of heroes. I think you just cut your losses on the Batrider and the Grimstroke, but maybe feeling because they're so strong, they thought we could still turn this fight, but that has completely reset the game, and I feel that goes back to favoring Midas again then.
Yeah, the fact that they managed to kill 2 really important heroes with just Frostbite, like they Frostbite up the Storm Spirit. He ends up getting Avatossed, or tossed rather, by his own Tiny, which kind of hurts him because he doesn't get to Ball Lightning away. And that's just enough time for them to burst the Storm. And then Pudge comes in, just gets Insnare Orchided and dies 100-0 under a single usage of the Bristleback. Like, he took 1,300 physical damage from Bristleback in about 2 seconds. So that is where I was like, eventually this matchup becomes completely unplayable. And he's starting to get to that point. Like, you need your Shivas, you need a BKB, and you're going to need something else, like, to try and survive. So I'm not sure what that is yet. It's just, I feel like Midas Club's game gets easier from this point on.
It might be he needs to go back to that BKB, because all this damage is then being further amplified by Disseminate. So with BKB, Bristleback will still be a concern, but the Shadow Demon and the Timbersaw will do a lot less damage to your core Pudge. Might be necessary, especially considering there's already a Shivas on the Batrider. You don't get the armor yourself, but you get all the amplification. Oh, he did get Light Collector on Pudge. I wonder what his other options were.
And I'm just like going back, like checking all the different items on these heroes to see like where they're headed. And every single one of these heroes on AcatSuki is pretty far from a BKB outside of the Bat Rider. And I mean, Adrian will get his fairly soon, but once he gets his Blink Lasso off, like Bat Rider's job is like kind of done, right? Like he can still do a lot of damage if he's able to survive, but the main thing is you need to get to BKBs on both Storm Spirit and Pudge, and they both want to get another item before that. They are smoked up. Widge will pop the smoke as he's figuring out there's a whole lot of heroes here, and he gets the perfect TP spot. What a play. Nicely done from him. Dude, Bullwhip is the new Light Collector, by the way. I'm on Bullwhip fan now. My friendship with Light Collector is over.
I think it's pretty good too. Now that you don't interrupt yourself, that was a huge buff for it.
Yeah. It's also just the active movement speed change is pretty good. Like 18%. It's only for 4 seconds, but to either slow an enemy or speed up yourself, certain heroes, like it's great.
Goes to Belay. Finished his Eternal Shroud, but actually his courier got sniped.
That's rough. Bottom lane, we're going to see a nice initiation here onto the Timber Saw. Can they bring him down in time, though? Dude, he's so tanky. The Glimmerblade plus his own Eternal Shroud to just keep him alive through this all. And Shido, he's got to run. FCR with the quills, dude. Just burst him like it's nothing. Robo Z on the run. Prada in trouble as the hairball will connect. And boy, oh boy, good luck running away from the Bristleback. It's not going to happen. They do manage to find Storm in the mid lane for the moment, but he's got plenty of mana. But the Orchid comes through. Can they actually find the kill? The hairball connects. They need a few auto attacks. The song will be committed so they can go for the Frostbite. And with that, Storm Spirit dies as well. Dude, this whole thing started without the Naga Siren, and they just crushed the fight.
Yeah, I think things are getting really out of control now.
Dude, I love Bristleback. Sign me up. I'm so ready for this hero to be good again.
Shotgun Bristleback. He's here again.
Yeah.
Disassembles that Vanguard he had earlier to now build into his own Eternal Shroud, which will be really good here. It's really heavily magic damage on the side of AcatSuki, which is kind of why they had to like get an early lead and keep that lead the whole time. Like their game plan was pretty tough.
Yeah.
Not a lot of room for mistakes, and they were doing a great job. Honestly, it's like that one mistake has now really killed off a lot of momentum.
This is one of those games where you kind of just have to get ahead, stay ahead, and never make a mistake. And it's so hard to play Dota that way. Even at the highest level, like the best teams in the world can't do that. They're looking for FCR here. He's trying to get a toss back onto the Pudge, but that's not going to work out how you want. The Orchid is there. Shindo walks in, trying to do what he can here. But again, FCR just bursts him down. So much damage out from the Bristleback as now they look for Prada. Double kill for the Bristle, and you have an 8k gold lead now all of a sudden. I don't know what you do at this point on AcatSuki. I really don't. And I'm not like... I think they actually played an incredible early game. And I like what they came up with to try and address the Naga Siren. I just think the Bristleback is too much.
Yeah, like, usually your plan here is to find pickoffs, which... You got some good heroes for that. You got Pudge, Bat Rider, Storm. But then you look at your targets and you don't really want supports. You'll take what you can get, but like you want a core. And your options are, do we gank a Timber Saw? No. Do we gank a Bristleback? Looks like maybe that is what's happening this bottom lane.
The thing is Pudge has to face him in order to get this kill, and he's trying, but he's not going to get that luxury, and FCR just tanks through the damage from both of these guys, allows everyone to come in for an Orchid. And Storm dead. This is exactly what I was talking about. The matchup never becomes fun. You have to have a break. And now it's time for 40R to get aggressive. The Yules there will catch that Tiny, prevent him from being able to blink away for the moment. But 2 seconds, he gets that with the Avalanche, and he's going to be just fine. I mean, it's just good movement control from the Bristle, right? It's like anytime the Pudge is going in for the Dismember, he's just always making sure that it's his back facing.
Yeah, and he's working on a Lotus Orb, so it'll be even easier now. Like, he won't even care after that. And, I mean, yeah, so that was one of your gank targets. That was the Bristleback we have to gank, right? And then your last target is a Naga, who now finally has her Eternal Shroud. So she's pretty tanky herself. She's got the illusions. She's got the song. Like, there's not a good core target to easily get a pick off on. At this point, I don't know, Fountain Hooks? Is that where we're at?
Well, there is a current iteration of a Fountain Hook. I'm just trying to remember what it is. But it's so weird. It requires, if I'm not mistaken, Muerta's Parting Shot or something. So,
Oh, I vaguely remember this now.
yeah, it's like
bring it up.
It requires Batrider and Muerta, where essentially you Parting Shot, lasso, and then bring your soul back to your body, which is standing in the fountain, and it drags the hero all the way there. It's very funny. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna
This
see
time
that.
we have Toss, Hook, and Lasso, so maybe we can get people into the fountain.
Peru, you do have you have some good movement abilities. That is true. I think this first Aegis, what we're looking for here, if you are on AcatSuki, is okay. They just, I mean, they had their eyes set on Adrian, and it might backfire. But no, Hiko doesn't disrupt.
Dire's middle tower
Oh no.
Slightly
All right,
wrong
well, they all
order on
get out.
skills there.
is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing it the whole game, where he's always like blink Demonic Purge into disruption, and I think that time kind of backfired. What I was gonna say is, like, they're looking for a pick off before going high ground. Costabile gets stunned up here on the top side. They're trying to find the real one. The Song of the Siren gets canceled, and he's dead. He's all alone. Fantastic find. 1,600 gold for that kill.
A really nice kill,
Dire's bottom
but
tower
unfortunately
is
with the
under
current draft, like, I don't know how much of the game that really changes. Because like you said, I don't know what items and scaling you get to where you're actually stronger than these heroes. They're going to keep trying to find kills, which I think is the correct call. Looking for 40R. Nice Timber Chain cancel. Bringing all the
They know
heroes.
he's alone. Yeah, this is really sick. I mean, they know he's completely alone. They have the ward here. Meanwhile, they're getting a kill on Kiri in the mid lane, but they just got 2 back-to-back huge pickoffs. So I mean, that's something for AcatSuki. I think the main issue you have, though, is you cannot fight them heads up like 5v5 anymore. Especially with the Lotus Orb completed on the Bristleback. I would be shocked if they don't go for another Lotus, because it is the end-all be-all counter to a Pudge. Like, he can never dismember a hero that it has Lotus Orbs, so
Really good versus Batrider too.
yeah, it's just such a good Lotus game. Even Storm Spear, right? He just goes in, goes for Vortex, and just Vortexes himself. Like, this is arguably one of the best Lotus games to counter 3 different cores.
Adrian in a
BKB
bit
out
of
from
trouble here.
Adrian. He should make it. So, Timbersaw at the moment. He's got his Ags queued up to get to his reactive armor. I don't hate that. I think Lotus is just arguably better this game, but for him, it's good burst damage. I think that's the other thing. It gives him some damage. Kiri, nice Avatos, grabbing Hiko, but you need to be very careful. Song of the Sirens to turn around. They really want to look for the Tiny, as the Ensnare will come through. And FCR, I don't think he's under too much threat. He's going to go ahead and just pop those quills, keep him down. Hiko gets the kill. I mean, you get at least Song of the Siren out, but now you're down a hero, and they are grouped.
Yeah, there's a minute 20 on Aegis. I sort of think you could just go for that high ground if you wanted to. Looks like they're taking a slower approach, though. Maybe also having the same read that we are, which is that I really don't, I don't know what the comeback mechanic is. So the later we go, it's fine, guys, right? So maybe just taking it easy, throwing that lead, just to make sure, right, when you get pulled into the fountain, you're just so tanky you can't die.
They do manage to get Widge on the backside, but Prada just gets popped by the 2 of them. They're trying to now turn their attention on over to Robo-Z, but he's got plenty of mana to play with, so he's going to make it out. I think right now their main objective is take this bottom tier 2, because if they get to the tier 2, they can open up Tormentor. They can take it so dang easily. If I'm not mistaken, Bristleback is still one of the few heroes that can solo a Tormentor.
bottom tower is under attack.
Yep. Okay, I was correct. He is one of the heroes that can still solo Tormentor. Jeez.
With ease.
Not even close. So yeah, that's nice for him.
Dire's
Gets that over to Crystal Main, so she has that Crystal Clone now to play with. Hiko gets a banish onto the north side, catching Kiri, and a hook will get him out. Good find.
There's a clone
That
pretty
being
good
said,
with Storm Spirit.
yeah, absolutely. Go through Vortex here onto the Timbersaw. FCR protected by the Lotus, but it's not gonna save him. Actually, just Saga the Siren. Full disengage. You managed to get a really good play here as pretty much everything's spent on the Dire. They're gonna go ahead, toss up these heroes, try and do some damage, but it's not enough. They're just surviving through it all, and now you've got to get out of here. AcatSuki, you're running low on resources. RoboZ's out of mana. You've lost your Tiny. FCR charging up onto the high ground. Timbersaw as well, looking for the support. Shido going in onto the punch, gets a nice dismember. They get a lasso onto the Crystal Main, but it's safe from that disruption, and RoboZ is gone. He's lost it. Hook will find the Crystal Maiden once again, but FCR is just chasing him into the fountain one by one. Hairball back up. They're trying to bring down this Bristleback. He's getting low. He's in pretty deep and doesn't have the Lotus on him for the moment. They finally get the kill. Double buybacks paying off. Is now, can they get more? In comes RoboZ, but an immediate Orchid out from the Crystal Maiden, saved by that Grimstrobe. He did manage to get that reactive armor off, and he's very tanky, looking to bring down the Pudge, but it's not enough. Turns his attention over to Adrian, gets the Yules. Hook to save. It looks like we might finally see an end to the fight. Maybe Demonic Cleanse thrown onto the Timbersaw. Very hard to find that kill now. It's a good blink to safety here from Hinko. You do not want to feed this gem. You have a Song of the Siren in 2 seconds. Kiri's going to come in. All right, they will give it up.
All right, maybe a little bit of a dive there, but Midas Club did get 2 buyback, so now you can just look for either of those kills and you'll be in a really good spot to siege high ground from the side of AcatSuki. I mean, did they hit any major items off of that?
I mean, you got the Agnums
so.
delivered like mid-fight on 4DR. Storm Spirit is closing in on his Lincolns, which will be nice. And you do have that BKB done on the Pudge. Octarine done on the Batrider. There's some nice pickups for sure, but I don't like you kind of evened out that fight after the buybacks are considered, right? I think it's like a couple 100 gold difference. They get the 5th and final shard for their team. This one for the Timbersaw, the massively nerfed flamethrower. Unbelievable.
It'll help them take these towers just that much faster, I guess.
They're looking for Shido mid lane. Oh, do they? Oh, he gets the blink out. But Hiko goes in, looking to find these heroes. Nice Ogre Seal Totem away. And they get the TPs. Oh, that's a really clean escape there. A little bit of a mistake, I think, from FCR. I think Hiko wants to be the one that like blinks in, gets the disruption.
Long Roche spawn. I think they can push without it, but you might as well play it safe. Just hold the map till Roche is up and then go high ground with it. I mean, we've already seen how hard it is to kill some of these really tanky heroes, let alone twice when your BKBs are down. So yeah. I think you just play it safe for that, because I don't see how you lose the fight outside of the fountain.
We're also going to see Bristleback go for his Bloodstone next. One of the classic like final items on this hero. It does actually affect Hairball, Quill Spray, as well as increases the AoE on both of them, which is kind of cool. So notable outside of just just the fact that it gives you the spell lifesteal. He also has a Paladin Sword, so bonus spell lifesteal and amplified spell lifesteal is very good for this guy.
Stick an Aegis on that guy? How you do it twice, man?
Yeah, I feel like they're going to put Aegis on. I mean, do you put an Aegis on the Bristleback at this point? I mean, maybe now that your Timber has the Aghanim Scepter, like he's probably not dying. Naga Siren maybe is the one who carries the Aegis, but she's almost got her Eye of Scotty.
I mean, I think Bristleback is
have her Eye of
good enough.
Scotty.
Yeah, I think Bristleback is good enough at hitting towers that you could just put the Aegis on him and have him hit the buildings for you. Like other games, you could stick it on Naga and have her do it, but I mean, I think you just have her in the back, ready to song, and
Yeah, you're right.
then what's the play? You know,
Yeah.
if he
Bristleback
does get
have a
hooked, you just
ton of
pop
damage.
song, run in. Yeah.
He gets to a point where you get to your, if you ever get to your level 25 taunt with this game, it's like he will walk high ground with like plus 600 damage, right? Like that is a real concern. So we'll see if they get there. Of course, they have the gem just sitting in the Roche pit, so they know when it's going to spawn the moment it spawns, and they have full control of the map at the moment. They are pushing out bottom decently here on AcatSuki, and they are chipping away at the tier 2 tower, but again, Midas Club aren't concerned about this. For them, it's just Roshan. That is the game objective at this point. And they see it spawn, so gem gets redelivered, and into Roshan they go.
Yeah, the thing
And
is,
it's a
like,
cheese
even with
too.
that... Ooh, yeah, that'll be really good. The thing is, like, even when you get split pushed a bit, if you look at the heroes on the Dire, like, it's not even that scary, like, tower damage-wise, right? So you're not worried about buildings suddenly getting destroyed. So, like, yeah, give him like 30 seconds hitting our building. You know, like, what's the big deal, guys? The same cannot be said for Midas Club. You leave the Bristleback next to a tower, oh, man, the thing's gone. Scary.
Yeah. So I actually didn't consider the fact that they get cheese on this one. So they just cheese the Bristleback, which I think is perfectly fine. He's not going to get bursted 100-0. Like, he will get a cheese off. So I think he's fine with that. Aesthetics cap for the Pudge is nice. We're going to see some tier 4 items start to come out. They get Timeless Relic on the Batrider.
Martyr's Plate.
You've got to be kidding me. Oh, man.
Dude, he's sitting at a casual 63% magic resist right now.
And that's without
That's not
the
even
stacks.
with... Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know.
Active is sick, too, because that also works if he's facing them from the back.
Oh, I didn't know that.
As long as the source of damage is coming from, like, wherever the direction of his back is, I'm pretty sure, like, it will trigger more Bristleback procs. Which, I mean, stack that with a Bloodstone, and it's just actually healing instead of taking damage. Well, they smoke up, heading towards bottom. Going to see if they can find something tiny. Not really the best kill for them, but they will take it, as he does manage to just spot him here in the trees. They commit the Bloodstone, or the Bloodthorn. And, yeah, he's dead. 40R grabs the kill.
I will say,
It's something,
while...
but you get out.
Yeah. While Midas Club was taking it easy, making sure they get Roche, there was a good amount of farming for the Dire. So if you throw this Aegis fight somehow, you know, some great hooks into the base, stuff like that, I mean, we'll kind of be back to an even game at that point, which still think it sort of favors the Radiant side, but I mean, technically infinite scaling Pudge, you know, they got some good scaling heroes on their side. So
The
can't go too
dismember
crazy
damage
on
heal
Midas Club.
becomes... Yeah, I was like, dismember damage heal is like usually what you want to go for on this hero because it is so much damage. But when you're playing into Lotus Orbs, you actually might have to go for your other talent, which that one sucks really bad. So I don't know what his game plan is going to be if he gets to his 25, but he's a tanky boy. Picked up a Heart of Tarask in the process. You do have 25 on Batrider now, so the Flame Break applying napalm charges is fantastic. One of the best talents in the game. But yeah, I mean, to put it into perspective, what you were talking about, as they were positioning for Roshan, they were 16,000 gold ahead, and by the time they finished it, they were only 11,000 gold. So they managed to recoup like 5K in that time on AcatSuki. Now they're kind of trapped in their base again, and that gold lead's starting to go up. But at least, like you said, was a decent amount of time for them to get some items, and they all get their tier 4s as well, which is pretty important too.
Let me see what they're waiting for before going. Oh, maybe this Aghanim's on Shadow Demon. He just finishes it, buys out for it.
He just instant Lotus Orb on the Bristle. He's seeing himself get surrounded here. Costa Belay comes in on the Naga Siren, gets the Bloodthorn off as they get a good dismember, but she's got, of course, that Aegis, a BKB to play with. Kiri, he's falling low. He's gone. Shadow Demon on the backside, taking a lot of damage as well. They managed to get the first life. Robo-Z out of mana, completely taking his own engagement as Hiko trying to run away. He gets out just barely. Storm Spirit, diebacks, Coast to Belay looking for his opening. You've lost the Shadow Demon as Batrider now on the run. Do they have an ensnare? Not for a moment, but just taking so much damage. Gets for a lasso here onto the Naga Siren, but guess what? 4DR, FCR, both on the backside looking for their opening. They're all stuck on the high ground. They juked him out, the double blink out. Never mind. Coast to Belay's coming back with the bots too, trying to finish off this Batrider. They got him. Can you get more? Prada on the run, going for the TP. He has a Yules, but won't find him. Nice disengage, but... oh, the Storm Spirit spent so much time trying to kill that Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, it was a pretty good fight to start, I would say, but once the BKB start ending, that's where it gets really scary. You're gonna try to defend here. I see how little damage is being done to Bristle.
All that much.
Yeah.
You're about to get bursted. Yeah, he has to get tossed to safety. They're turning around onto Kiri, who needs to be very careful. They buy back here on the Batriders. BKB Lasso doing a decent chunk, but 40R is so tanky on the Timbersaw. Shido, another dismember available, hasn't committed it quite yet as they want to finish off the Tiny, and Coast to Belay just diving after him. Forced to pop the Song of the Siren as he's isolated, and the Pudge doing a decent chunk of damage. There's the TP out. Can't finish off the Tiny either, as now they're going to get the dismember that they want. Protected there by the Lotus Orb now, as there's going to be the Frostbite Wish with a nice freezing field doing some work. Adrian stuck. He can't get out. No BKB available, and Shido, his BKB's expired. He's all alone. And just like that, a slow and painful death for AcatSuki here inside their own base.
That should be about it. Storm's up. I suppose Pudge might buy back here. One last defense, but it will be a tall order.
It's so tanky, man. Like, Pudge is not a burst hero. Like, the longer these fights go on, the better it is for this Bristleback.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
All right. Demonic Cleanse comes out aggressively. Very nice Vortex onto the backside, grabbing both of the supports. They will buy back on the Grimstroke, but they've got to be able to get out of here now. Hook off the mark. Shido comes in. Lotus Orb will protect this Bristleback for the moment. Ends up tossing the Pudge the wrong way. Popping that Bloodstone, trying to get some extra HP here. Can he get the dieback onto the Shadow Demon? Oh, never mind. He still had his buyback available. Another Dismember out from the Pudge, but a Hex comes through. They're going to turn it around onto him, and there's, of course, the Squill damage.
Dire's bottom barracks.
Double dieback on your cores, as they've also found the Tiny all alone, isolated. 4 heroes dead. No way back into the game, and that should be game 1 going the way of Midas Club.
The damage numbers are going to be so high on the scoreboard here. There's so many tanky heroes with a drawn-out fight. Yeah, so I think it's pretty cool. The Pudge pick, it's always fun to see people try it, but into the Timber was maybe a bit